Room Network presents two fired up Bears fans. They are ready to rumble on the Bear Debate.
You're listening to the Ballroom Network. The following program is intended for all audiences. Welcome to the Fantasy Football Goon Podcast with your hosts, Joe Mandel, the Goon, and the man with the plan, Adam Schaum. We're bringing you the fantasy football knowledge that you need every single week.
Derrick Henry still going. Stays in bounds. He might go 99 yards for the touchdown. Unbelievable.
Flushed out again all the way back. Turning the corner. Fires downfield. Caught. Touchdown. Only Mahomes turns what might have been a 15-yard sack into a 27-yard touchdown.
Saquon Barkley across midfield, down the sideline, stayed in bounds, and Barkley takes it all the way. 68 yards for his first NFL touchdown. McCaffrey right up the middle, and he is gone for the touchdown. 58 yards. Pass is to Thomas. He's gone. Touchdown Saints.
Okay, it's time for the easiest part of any coach's job, the cut. Now, while I wasn't able to cut everyone I wanted to, I have cut a lot of you. Steven, I like your hustle. That's why it was so hard to cut you. Congratulations, the rest of you made the team. Except you, and you.
God bless fantasy football. There are many things a man can do with his time. And this, better than those things.
What's going on, everyone, and welcome to Fantasy Football Goon. I'm Joe Mandel, the Goon, and I'm joined by my co-host, Adam Schaum, the man with the plan. Adam, how you doing this fine football Sunday?
I'm doing great this morning, Joe. Glad to have you back this week. We missed you last week, but we put on a pretty good show anyway. I hope everybody got some good content and ready to do it again here for the final week of most fantasy leagues.
That's right. We're getting you ready for that playoff matchup next week, or hopefully to help you secure one of those final playoff spots. We got a lot of good feedback about last week's show being a hot and heavy quick hitter. So we're going to try to do the same thing today. Try to keep it roughly 30 minutes or so, maybe a smidge over, but we're going to hit it heavy and we're going to hit it hard. So before we do that, Adam, at the top of the show, we always talk about bye weeks. And, you know, it's kind of weird that we do have bye weeks still in week 14, the final bye weeks. So we've got Colts, we got Dolphins, we got Patriots, and the Eagles on a bye this week. So if you have any players on those teams, get them out of your lineups. If your commissioner was not smart enough to push out playoffs by a week, shame on them. I'm in a few leagues like that, Adam, and we have playoffs this week, and whoever has Jonathan Taylor can't even play him for round one. How horrible is that?
Man, that's brutal. I haven't ran into that yet, and I can't even believe that. I mean, to be without Jonathan Taylor or Patriots defense, things like that have carried you a long ways. That's just brutal right there. Yeah. I mean, when the schedule changed, you had to move everything back a week this year.
Yep. I caught wind of it about at week 7 of the season. I'm like, oh crap, I got to fix that now.
For sure. That's nuts.
But obviously you gotta, if you have the Patriots defense, you got to fill in. You might have the Colts defense. So lots of options out there on waivers to help guys out. We're going to just jump right in a second here to our starts and sits. And there are some guys in our sleepers that will be available today. But I did want to call out today, surprise and active for the Texans today. David Johnson is out. So Rex Burkhead could be one of those nice flyers today, Adam.
Yeah, definitely. I just saw that David Johnson news a few minutes ago as well. Yeah, Rex Burkhead definitely moves up as a possible sleeper today. Somebody's got to get the touches there, and I believe it should be him at this point.
Absolutely, man. So that's a guy you can look at to plug in at the running back position. Briefly wanted to touch on, playoffs coming up here, and you want to keep your team hot. I think momentum is an underrated thing in fantasy, Adam. The team that comes in as hot as possible is generally the team that takes it all home. Any bits of advice before we get into our starts and sits of the week to start off and continue hot through the playoffs?
Well, I hope you're right about that, because in my most important league, I've got a red hot team right now, and I hope they can keep it up for a few more weeks. The best thing you can do is if your league is, say, 16 playoffs and you got bye week or something, the first couple teams have byes, you need to be looking ahead right now, even before games start today. Make sure you have defenses lined up for the next couple of weeks, or when you get, hopefully you have next week off and then you're ready to play in 2 weeks. So line up a defense or two that has great matchups in the last couple of weeks. Look at all those little positions like the defense, the kicker, the tight end, the ones that are interchangeable more often than not, that you may not have a one stud you're using all year, and try to line up 2 guys if you want. You got to dump those players off your bench you're not using anymore. Only keep the high-end handcuffs and set yourself up with those defenses and things like that.
Yeah, that's why I've been telling people, I might be crazy, but I've been telling people drop Melvin Gordon at this point. I mean, Javonte Williams is going to be the lead dog, and unless he's really hurt. But again, are you even going to start Javonte? Are you going to start Melvin Gordon without Williams? Probably not.
Nope, you're not. Melvin Gordon's health's in question. So with multiple injuries he was banged up from, Javonte Williams has finally got that chance, and boy did he ever show it last week. And
yeah,
I think if Melvin Gordon's healthy, he'll still get usage, but I think it's going to start leaning towards Javonte down the stretch here, and he could be one of those league-winning guys.
I think he's a league winner. I really do.
Yeah.
And we'll get to talk about him a little bit later, because I have a hunch we both will talk about him as well. But without further ado, before the chat gets going too much, we're going to dive straight into our starts and sits of the week. And I'm going to go ahead and start with my quarterback. Let me actually get rid of this banner off the screen before we do that. Okay, it's gone now. So I'm going to go with my quarterback starts of the week. And I know you don't like Cam Newton this week, but I like Cam Newton against Atlanta today. He's the kind of guy that's going to use his legs and do those dink and dunk passes. And that's the 2 things that Atlanta has really struggled with. So I think Cam Newton has a really nice day today. Probably finishes as a top 15. I could see him potentially inside the top 10. So with that said, I think he's got a good matchup, and I would give him a start. Matthew Stafford, again, I feel like he's on my list every week, but Arizona, while their defense has been improved this year, their secondary is just not what it once was. And let's be honest, Stafford has been slinging it really, really well. And it's probably playing some of the best ball of his career. And last but not least on this list, I've got Russell Wilson. Yes, I know he's been a dumpster fire all year, Adam. And most fantasy owners are really disappointed with him. This might be the 1 week all year that you could rely on him. Houston's that bad. And Russell Wilson, I mean, let's face it. He's been hearing it all week about how terrible he's been. What better way to come back than destroy the Houston Texans? So I love all three of these guys this week. If I had to rank them, I'd like Russell the highest out of all these guys, followed by Stafford and then Newton. But Adam, let's take a look at your quarterback starts of the week.
All right, Joe, I like all those choices. I'll explain why I'm against Cam Newton here later. Otherwise, though, I also agree with the Russell Wilson pick versus Houston. I think he's a fantastic play today. He looked a little bit better last week. Tyler Lockett's been heating up since Wilson has been back. The Houston defense is awful, and the Seattle run game is so banged up. I mean, they're down to, I believe Rashad Penny is going to be the guy today, and I think we've seen how that goes for years now. He might make it. We'll be lucky if he makes it through the game, you know. So I think Russell Wilson's they're gonna need him to make plays today, and I think he's just a fantastic play. I agree with what you said. This is the 1 week I think you can feel pretty confident putting him in your lineup. And the other guy I like, kind of for the reason you like Cam Newton, is Taysom Hill, going against the awful Jets run defense, the worst in the league. I think there's 4 rushing touchdowns between Taysom Hill and Alvin Kamara today. Saints just get a big boost back with Alvin Kamara. And I think Taysom Hill gets it done with his legs. Probably doesn't have to do a whole lot through the air, but he actually does a little more through the air than most people recognize most of the time, I think. I think he's just a fantastic play today. I think I'm actually going to play him over Justin Herbert today, to be honest, just for the upside of it today with Herbert without Keenan Allen. So, yeah. The other one I like is Derek Carr. Again, I've mentioned him quite a few times this season. He kind of goes up and down, but the Raiders seem to play really well against the Chiefs most of the time. I expect this to be a pretty high-scoring game. I think Derek Carr is probably going to be able to save your fantasy day late in the game. Even if it's in garbage time, he's going to put up quite a few yards. I think at least 300 yards and 2 touchdowns. So I think Carr's a very good play today. Those are the guys I like, and I would start.
Love it. I love all those guys. Yeah, it's weird saying Taysom Hill, but I mean, I agree. This is a guy that he could definitely be a big boom play for you, especially against the lowly Jets. So yeah. I love that pick there. But Adam, why don't you tell us about your running back starts of the week?
Running backs. All right. First off, I like the stud of last week. Last week's number 1 running back, I believe, Javonte Williams for the Denver Broncos. He's finally got his chance with Melvin Gordon out last week. He showed it like nobody's business, man. He looked like a total stud. He's going to be a very high draft pick next year going in fantasy. I think Melvin Gordon's pretty questionable again today, I think. Yeah. Even if he does play, who knows how much he can hold up on the field anyway. So I think Javonte has another massive game today. And, man, he's really good through the passing game. He's going to put up points quick versus a bad Detroit defense. Another one I like is Josh Jacobs in that game versus Kansas City again. Kenyon Drake now out. Josh Jacobs' targets have been going up every week, really ever since Gruden left. Has been Josh Jacobs' targets have went up, and I believe he had 9 targets last week alone. And I think he gets in the end zone like he does most games. As long as it's a close game, Josh Jacobs usually gets in the end zone. So I think he has a pretty good game today in that versus the Chiefs. And the other one's a guy people have been down on and even concerned about injury-wise is Ezekiel Elliott. I think today it sounds like Tony Pollard's probably going to be out.
He's officially inactive today, Adam.
Officially inactive, yeah. He had a surprise injury after breaking a huge run last week, apparently. And sounds like he's going to be out. I've heard them saying Zeke feels really good this week, and his knee injury they've talked about feels a lot better, and he's ready to go. So we know how these Washington-Dallas games go. They could be grinding it out with Zeke on the ground, and we know he can catch some passes too. So I think it's a solid week for Ezekiel Elliott without Tony Pollard in the mix.
Yeah, because he really hasn't had a week all year that he was the focal point of the – I mean, I lie. He is the focal point, but he hasn't been the sole guy. Right. So I agree with you. And Washington's defense, as we all know, has been the ultimate underachiever this season. So I love Zeke today as well. He is definitely a must-start. So I love that call out there, Adam. Getting to me, I also have Javonte Williams on my list. I mean, this kid is a top 5 running back if he's getting all the carries in fantasy. And we all know how horrible Detroit is. I'm fully on the same line with you, Adam. Javonte Williams destroys the Lions today single-handedly,
Yeah.
over 100 yards and a touchdown. If we're lucky, he might have 2. So I love Javonte today. I got Sony Michel on here. Darrell Henderson on the COVID list will not be playing today for the Rams. So, Sony Michel is going to be the lead dog down there. And you've seen what Sony can do when he's the focal point of the offense. As I mentioned, Arizona's pass rush, just not what it's been. While they're decent, Sony has been making the most out of his opportunities when he has them. And let's be honest, that play action from Stafford is certainly going to help open things up for him. Sony Michel today is a top 10 running back. I really believe that in my soul. And then also got Chuba Hubbard on here. As we all know, C-Mac is on IR again for the rest of the year. And they get to go against the lowly Atlanta Falcons pass. They're just horrible against everything. Pass run. They certainly don't have a pass rush, that's for sure. And Chuba Hubbard, while, I've been in many leagues, Adam, where I've seen Chuba dropped, and he's just kind of hanging out there. Chuba Hubbard today, I think you're guaranteed at least 1 touchdown and close to 100 yards rushing. I could see him easily going over, but again, it depends on how the game goes. If they get up big against Atlanta, then you could definitely see Chuba go well into the hundreds. So I love Chuba Hubbard today. There's some people in the Guillotine League that were asking me, they're like, why is this guy at 0 points for 5 weeks? I'm like, he's been pretty banged up, but he's fully healthy now from my understanding. And Chuba Hubbard could be a guy that helps you go into the playoffs hot, and that's what it's all about. So those are my running back starts of the week, Adam.
I like those a lot. I love the Sony Michel pick, man. He looked really great last week, and I don't see any reason he can't continue to do that.
I'm in the full alignment with you there, brother. Diving into our wide receiver starts, I like Jarvis Landry this week against Baltimore. I know the Browns have been a bit of a roller coaster ride all year. But one thing, Adam, that we have seen all year is Baltimore giving up big plays to wide receiver ones, their secondary. So I think Jarvis Landry is going to be a target machine today, working out. I would say he's probably going to be out of the slot a good chunk of the day and make some money in the middle. So I think Jarvis Landry's got 7 catches for close to 100 yards and a touchdown, money in fantasy. Secondly, a guy that feels like he's on my list almost every week, but he's just been the pinnacle of PPR magic, and that's Hunter Renfrow for the Raiders going up against the Chiefs today. As Adam and I mentioned, Chiefs defense not good, and neither is the Raiders. This is going to be a high-scoring game. Hunter, I think, had 7 or 8 catches in the first half last week, something crazy like that.
Yeah.
This guy's Derek Carr loves him, and he's going to have a huge day today against Kansas City. This guy is a must-start the rest of the way, and I love him, especially against the Chiefs. And then I love Van Jefferson. This kid has really stepped into that wide receiver 2 role. I know people will say that Odell is the wide receiver 2 in LA, but it's Van Jefferson. I think it's Van Jefferson. He's been the more stable guy, and Stafford seems to trust him more. And let's be honest, he's going to see a lot of single coverage today against Arizona, and he's going to make them pay. Van Jefferson, for me, is a league-winning wide receiver. I've been saying that for the last 6 weeks, and I don't think anything's going to change. He is basically Robert Woods light, but except the fact that he's going to get more targets now. So Van Jefferson, he's my jam. So those are my wide receiver starts, Adam.
I like those. I really like the Van Jefferson pick, man. I agree. He's 100%. He is the number 2 there. It's not Beckham. Van Jefferson's getting tons of targets, and he was before Beckham arrived in the Woods injury, and it's even more now. And like you said, he's Robert Woods, but younger and with more speed even. So I really like Van Jefferson. That's a great pick.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. And let's get to your wide receiver starts of the week.
All right. Well, I'm in the same boat with you on Hunter Renfrow. The guy just produces every week. We know they're going to need to throw quite a few times in this game, so he's going to get his 10 targets, I bet, and that's going to work out for you in PPR leagues for sure. He's doing it all year long. He's a top 15 wide receiver, in my opinion, right now. Another guy's Tyler Lockett, who we talked about Russell Wilson earlier. Tyler Lockett's targets have been up really high over the last few weeks as well. He's been averaging close to 90 yards a game for the last 3 or 4 weeks. I think that continues versus that bad Houston defense today as Russell Wilson gets on track. And another guy is Michael Gallup for the Cowboys. In that game versus Washington, over the last 3 weeks, Michael Gallup's seen 8, 9, and 10 targets. And, man, there's not a guy better in the league at getting those toes in bounds on the corner, in the sideline. And I would love to see that guy in a Bears uniform next year. Michael Gallup's just a fantastic player, I think. I've been a fan since he was a rookie. His target share gets me excited. I think he has another very solid game today. And this is a guy you could pop in your flex and be very, very satisfied with today.
Yeah, he's been a surprise since he's came off IR. He's been very consistent, and he's helping people make the playoff push. That's what it's all about. But Adam, let's take a look at your tight end starts of the week.
Excuse me. All right, Joe. Yeah, in the same game there, I like Dalton Schultz for the Cowboys as well. Again, he gets a lot of targets. Dak looks for him inside the 20 there in the red zone. I think he could easily get in the end zone in this game versus Washington today. He's just a really good player. They use the tight end a lot. Dak really likes to look at the tight end. Schultz took over Jarwin's spot this season, as Jarwin was supposed to be the guy last year, got injured. Schultz took his place and has never looked back. And I think he gets in the end zone today. He's had a pretty solid season. I think it continues today versus Washington. The other guy is Austin Hooper for Cleveland Browns. You mentioned Jarvis Landry a minute ago. I think the passing game today is Jarvis Landry and Austin Hooper for the Browns. I believe Hooper's the last tight end standing there right now with Njoku, and the other guy's name slips my mind. He's a rookie or second-year guy, but I think he's hurt as well. So Austin Hooper needs to earn that money today. They gave him a lot of money. This is his chance to earn some today, I think, versus the Ravens. The Browns really struggled 2 weeks ago versus them, and they need to utilize the tight end today and get the running game going. What's that?
Harrison Bryant is the other.
There you go. Yeah, Bryant. Okay. And then Jared Cook for the Chargers versus the Giants. I think he's going to need to fill in and absorb some of those targets they're going to be missing from Keenan Allen today. So I think Jared Cook's one of those guys who may not have 6 or 7 catches, but he might get you 3 for 40 and a touchdown. And from your tight end, that's what you need, and that'll get you by every week. So I like those guys today, Joe.
Love it. Great picks. And I finally get to have my guy Gerald Everett on my tight end starts of the week. It's been a long time coming. I think I've had him focused like 2 or 3 times all year, but I think this is the week, Adam, that he actually goes off and has I think he finishes in the top 10 at tight end. Houston, the worst defense in the league, I'm pretty sure statistically, and they are awful against the tight end. Gerald Everett, been getting targeted, but not coming down with the catches. I think he's going to be able to come down with them against this sloppy Houston defense. Gerald Everett has a big day today with a touchdown and about 80 yards, maybe over 100. But Gerald Everett finally fantasy relevant, so I love that. Dawson Knox today against for Buffalo against Tampa Bay. They are not good against the tight end. Well, with the pass in general. And Dawson Knox has been getting more and more involved as his hand gets fully healthy. I know that the Bills are struggling, and when they perform well, they're using Dawson Knox. So this is a guy that I think is going to score a touchdown today, and he could easily have 7 or 8 catches because he is that safety blanket. They might need it today. Dawson Knox, also a top 10 tight end this week. And last but not least, a guy that most people were going to call me crazy for putting on this list is Cole Kmet against Green Bay. Justin Fields is back today. He's healthy enough to play. Who does Justin Fields like, Adam? He likes Cole Kmet.
Absolutely.
Cole Kmet easily good for 6 catches today and a touchdown if the Bears can get into the red zone, that is. But nonetheless, Cole Kmet, worth a start in fantasy today because I love the matchup. Green Bay not great against the tight end. And they're going to have to use Kmet if they want to win this game. So those are my tight end starts of the week, Adam. I know we're going to hit it fast forward so we can get you out of here. So let's take a look at Adam's sits of the week.
All right. Just a quick explanation for Cam Newton. I know you had him as a start. I've got him as a sit. You're 100% right about what he's definitely capable of today and what could very well happen. I just do not trust Cam Newton personally. just somebody I'm never going to feel comfortable with putting him in my lineup. And that can burn me plenty of times, but that's one I'm willing to eat all the time. I don't trust the arm, the shoulder. You're relying on the red zone touchdowns, and that could very well happen versus Atlanta defense. But I'd just rather make a safer play like somebody like Taysom Hill that I think is just a safer bet. The offense is better. We know his arm's not dead. I just feel better about that. But you could definitely be right about Cam Newton. The other one's Melvin Gordon and Noah Fant for the Broncos. The Broncos offense outside of Javonte Williams has just really regressed, it seems like, over the last month or so.
It really has. It's been brutal.
Yeah, the wide receivers are getting nothing done. Noah Fant's almost disappeared in this offense. I just really only trust the running backs right now for Denver, so I'm staying away from the passing game in Denver. And Melvin Gordon's injuries keep me with putting him on the bench. And the other one's Brandon Cooks versus Seattle. Again, Houston's offense struggles. They're down to Davis Mills. Sounds like it's going to be quarterback the rest of the year. Cooks has been a little bit banged up. I just need to see it again with Cooks before I feel comfortable starting him again, especially here at a critical point of the season.
Yeah, I'm with you there. I think it's a risky play. And Brandon Cooks you can't really trust the Texans in any capacity, let's be honest. Only Rex Burkhead today, probably. That's about it.
Yeah.
I know we got to get you out of here, so what we're going to do is we're going to hop to your sleepers of the week,
Okay.
and then we'll let you go, and then I'll do my sits and sleepers and answer a couple questions.
Sounds good.
Appreciate it, Adam. So let's dive into Adam's sleeper picks of the week.
All right, so that's some guys I like tonight. Two of them in the same game, our beloved Bears versus the Packers tonight. Not too excited about the game.
Me either.
Unfortunately. But I think there could be some fantasy points in this game. One of them by Marquez Valdez-Scantling. I think he's kind of taken that role as the number 2 receiver there for the Packers, especially the last few weeks. He's really played well. And we've seen him get wide open in the end zone versus the Bears plenty of times before.
Mm-hmm.
So I could easily see that happening once again, unfortunately. But I think he's a solid play if you need especially a bye week fill-in at receiver or something for Michael Pittman or somebody like that. Valdez-Scantling's a great play today. Ricky Seals-Jones coming back for Washington. We've seen him be a real target monster in the red zone before he was injured. And now Logan Thomas is injured again and out. So I think Seals-Jones comes right back in and eats up a lot of targets today and could easily get in the end zone versus Dallas. And on the other side of the Green Bay-Chicago game I meant to mention was Justin Fields. It may not be pretty, but I think he can score some points even if it's late in this game. I think he may have to run the ball quite a bit today to keep the Bears in it at all. They're going to need his legs, and so he can add up some points pretty quick that way. If he gets 1 or 2 touchdowns, one on the ground, one in the air maybe, I think he can salvage your day and be a pretty good play down the stretch if you need a quarterback. And the other one's going to be Jermichael Hasty for the 49ers. I like him and Jeff Wilson sound like they're the guys today. Jeff Wilson's coming off of what they call a banged up knee or flared up knee or something again.
Mm-hmm.
So I think Jermichael Hasty's probably going to be the third down back and maybe a little more beyond that, but I kind of got a feeling he could be the guy getting in the end zone today. We know how Shanahan likes to use the running backs all the time. So Hasty and Wilson are both decent plays today, but I think Hasty could be the surprise sleeper today.
Yeah, I'm with you. Wilson's banged up, and let's be honest, Jeff Wilson hasn't been what either of us expected this year. So,
No.
Jermichael Hasty gonna have a big day. I have a feeling about it too. So that's a great call, Adam. And I know we got to let you go. Next week we'll be back to our normal time slot and going back to normal. But hot and heavy show, we got it done. Adam, as always, brother, love talking fantasy with you. Thank you for all the starts, sits, and all the information. And let's get a Bears win tonight on primetime against Green Bay. That'd be something.
Yeah, man, I'll be rooting for it. I can't wait to sit down and watch it tonight. Always hope for the best, but man, I tell you what, Nagy's really got my confidence down this year worse than ever before.
Me too.
Really worse than ever before. I've been a fan for almost 40 years of my life, and this is like the one year I don't even get excited about the games anime. I'm just like, here we go again. Like, how bad's it going to be?
The Nagy effect.
Yeah, but hopefully things will they'll at least hang in there tonight. Hopefully Fields can surprise everybody. It would be amazing if he went in there and won at Lambeau in his first game. So let's hope for that.
That would certainly be amazing.
Thanks for having me again this morning. Sorry I got to go. Joe's going to handle all your questions, and thank you everybody for joining in. I appreciate y'all.
No problem, Adam. We'll see you next week, and have a great day, man. We'll see you soon.
Thanks, Joe. Bye-bye.
All right, later. All right. So that's Adam Schaum, everybody. Make sure you follow him on Twitter at Papa Bear 816. He'll give you the fantasy info you need, as well as myself, and at FFB Goon for all your fantasy needs. But let's dive into my sits of the week. So we went through Adams. James Robinson today against Tennessee. He's banged up. Tennessee's been pretty decent against the run, and Jacksonville is, let's be honest, they're going to fall far behind in this game. For that reason, I think James Robinson is not worth a play today. He might literally get 3 points and kill fantasy owners. So I put Robinson on your bench. Matt Ryan against Carolina. Matt Ryan just hasn't been himself this year. I mean, Russell Gage has been his only weapon for the most part. Kyle Pitts finally coming into his own, but he's sitting on this list as well because Carolina, has a good pass rush. They've been getting after the guys, and I just can't see either of those two connecting to have a good fantasy day. So I just hate Atlanta in every capacity today. So for that reason, I am avoiding like the plague. And then Adam talked about Brandon Cooks. I don't see it either. You can't trust him just yet against Seattle, even with things falling into place with Seattle's defense being horrible. Brandon's just not where he should be, and you can't trust him in the last week of the season. So those are my sits of the week. And we do have a bunch of questions in the chat room. I will be getting to them just in a moment as soon as I finish my sleeper picks of the week, which are coming up right now. Rashad Penny getting the start today for the Seattle Seahawks against the Texans. They are a horrible run. They're a horrible run defense. And I know we mentioned Rashad Penny can never stay healthy, but if he's ever going to have a good day, it's going to be today when he's the feature back against the worst defense in the league. So Rashad Penny definitely worth a flyer as a flex start. I could see him at least having a touchdown and 80 yards or so. So that's a great day for a sleeper. I like Adam, also have Ricky Seals-Jones and Taylor Heineke on my sleeper picks. Both of them going up against that Dallas secondary, which is not good. Heineke has looked really good when he's got time to throw, and he's always going to get it against the Cowboys. Ricky Seals-Jones stepping in for the injured Logan Thomas, who's on IR for the rest of the year. Seals-Jones looks like he's fully healthy, and when he is healthy, he gets between 6 and 8 targets a game, generally speaking. Look for Ricky Seals-Jones to have a touchdown today and close to 90 yards. I love him as a sleeper, and I love him to help teams win a fantasy championship as a flex. So look at Ricky Seals-Jones on your waiver wire. He's really going to help you. And the last but not least, Julio Jones. He's a guy that's been a dud all year long, but he's coming off of IR ahead of the game against Jacksonville today. And if you're ever going to go off big time, it's when you're playing against the Jacksonville Jaguars. Julio Jones salvages his fantasy season. For whoever's lucky enough to pick him up today, I think Julio Jones has a touchdown and close to 100 yards. And the reason he's a sleeper is because he's been so bad all year long. I love Julio Jones today against the Jacksonville Jaguars. Let's get to the questions in the chat. There's been a few. Nate Moore started things off. He wanted to know Dante Foreman or A.J. Dillon. I think you got to go with A.J. Dillon here. Just because of Aaron Jones being a little bit banged up. And let's be honest, A.J. is becoming a bigger part of that offense. Love A.J. Dillon, especially, moving into future seasons and the tail end of this season, especially if they want to make that playoff push. Nate also wants to know Mooney or DK Metcalf for wide receiver. I think it's hard to go against DK Metcalf, especially, when Seattle has such a good matchup against Houston. They're one of the worst defenses in the league. I think you got to go with DK Metcalf for sure. So that's a great question. Javi wants to know, do you go with Ibukwe, Foreman, or trust Aaron Jones? I think just because of the upside and just because of how good he can be, you got to go with Aaron Jones anytime he's active. So I would say go with Aaron Jones here. All right, we got a good one here. Beasley versus the Bucks or Guyton versus the Giants. It's PPR. Tampa Bay's got a horrible secondary. I'm going Cole Beasley. He's been the more consistent between him and Emmanuel Sanders. Beasley's been getting more targets and more catches. and Tampa's the team that's going to give it up. So I love Cole Beasley today against the Bucks. I would definitely fire him up. Great question. And then Matt's got a nice call out here in the chat room. Bears come out tonight in wing tee with Rex Grossman at quarterback, Brad Muster at fullback, Rashawn Salam at running back, and RoboCop James Thornton at wing. It'd definitely be more entertaining than what we're probably going to get tonight, Matt. But, I think that's an awesome call out. I can totally envision it. Sexy Rexy under center. Probably the result would probably be the same, but it would definitely be fun to watch. Any last-minute chat room questions, please hit them up with us right now. I just also wanted to call out, you can head over and help support us in everything that we do. It's at the bottom of the screen. If you can go to deepdishtees.com/barroom, you can buy either a Fantasy Football Goon shirt or any swag from any of the great shows on our network. Buffon 55, the Barfly Tailgate Show, Bulls 101, Bulls Gold, Perspective of Gains, you name it, you can help support us in what we do, and it would mean a lot. And you can look good for the holidays. If you have a Fantasy Football Goon fan, South Burbs Hitmen fan, Bear football, you name it. There's just so many things to help, and there's so many great shows on this network. Don't forget to tune into Bear Football today, the halftime show, and then the post-game show. You got Aldo Gandia, you got John Buffon, and Tyler Ellis, the games report. They're going to get fired up and break down the game for you in every single facet. Don't forget to tune into Crosstown Crosstalk this week with Vinny and Joy Parisi. Of course, you got Bar Down Blackhawks talking hockey across the NHL. The Mike North Advantage, Greg Gabriel. I mean, there's so many great shows on this network. The Barfly Tailgate Boys were on before me, so definitely check it out and check out the Barroom Network. Smash that subscribe button. If you're on YouTube, you can get notified every time we go live. Then you can go back and watch all our programs as soon as they're done. You can also catch us wherever you find your podcasts. So whether you go on Apple Podcasts, you go on Spotify, we're also on Amazon, Podbean, wherever you find your podcasts, we're there. Look up the Barroom Network, and we're going to give you all the great content you need, covering not only Chicago sports, but now we're covering science fiction. We're covering movies, entertainment with science fiction. There's so many great things on this network, so we do appreciate all the support. So if you could head over and buy a shirt or a mug at deepdishtees.com/barroom, would definitely mean the world to us. So thank you for the support. We got another comment here in a question here from Christian: Carr or Newton, and Galladay or Shepard? So between Carr and Newton, I love Derek Carr. I love both of those guys, but I think Derek Carr going up against the Kansas City Chiefs, he always seems to play well. It's going to be a high-scoring game. They're going to have to sling it around, and they're going to have to get Hunter Renfrow really involved in this game. So I love Derek Carr. And then between Galladay and Shepard, I have the same problem in a couple of leagues. And, Galladay just hasn't shown it to me this year. Sterling Shepard, when he's active, has been a PPR machine. He looks like he's healthy enough to play. I would go Sterling Shepard over Galladay. He's a true wide receiver one when he's healthy, and I expect him to catch at least 7 or 8 passes today for over 100 yards. So that's what I'm going with Sterling Shepard. Nate Moore's got another question: Carr or Cam for QB, or I can get Fields? No, do not get Fields over those guys. Same thing. I would stay with Carr against Kansas City. They're going to sling it a lot. And let's be honest, Derek Carr, he's a better QB than Cam, and he's a better QB right now than Fields. He's just got more experience. So I'd say Carr is a safer play there, Nate, but great question. Any last-minute questions, guys? I'm about to wrap the show. Doing the show from my new office. There will be eventually sports memorabilia on the wall, but we just put down the floors and the trim. So it's just exciting to be doing the show from my new office. With that said, guys, I think I'm going to go ahead and do a quick run through the inactives list. Fantasy-wise, the inactives list is out, and the games, of course, are about a half hour away. In the Dallas game, Tony Pollard, as we mentioned, will be inactive today, so it's an all Zeke game for the football team. J.D. McKissick will not be playing, so look for Antonio Gibson to have a more expanded role in this one. Jaguars, Titans, nothing of note in this one, so no one to worry about fantasy-wise. Scrolling through all the games here, no one of note. There's not a lot of injuries in fantasy relevant ones anyway. For the Raiders, Darren Waller is inactive today, so he will not be playing tight end. Keep Darren Waller on your bench in that game. Same thing for DeAndre Swift in the Lions game. He will be inactive today against the Broncos, so you want to keep DeAndre Swift out. There will be no Daniel Jones or Kadarius Toney today against the Giants. And all the other games are kind of still up in the air, but definitely for the 49ers, there's no Elijah Mitchell, and Jeff Wilson is banged up. So that's why Adam has JaMychal Hasty as a sleeper pick. Definitely could be a difference maker. For the Bears tonight, Bear fans, if you're watching, there will be no Akeem Hicks against the Packers. I know he really loves to play against them, so that one is unfortunately he probably won't play against them again as a Bear, and probably his last year as a Bear. So that's really sad to see. But we made it all the way through the show. A huge thank you to my co-host, Adam Schaum. I know he had to bail early for another engagement, but I always appreciate talking fantasy with him. And we will be back next Sunday, normal time, 10:15 a.m. Central, to break things down for round 1 of the playoffs and help you make that push to a fantasy championship. So we'll be here, and we're going to get it done for you. A huge thank you to everyone in the chat that asked a question today. A huge thank you to my co-host, all my other cohorts on the Barroom Network, and a special shout-out to my beautiful wife, Catherine, my soon-to-be-born baby daughter, Audrey Lauren Marie, and my Great Dane pup, Maverick, who's waiting patiently for me upstairs. So I love you guys very much. And all of the people out in fantasy world, good luck today in your matchups. Go strong into the playoffs. We're going to be here to help you every step of the way. God bless America. God bless football. And let's go kick some ass. And let's get ready. Let's bring home the fantasy championship. This is what it's all about. Let's win things. Let's win. Let's win. We're going to the ship. See you next Sunday. Bear down.